Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today we want to talk about the stock market and we want to talk about the election. Now the election is coming up. A lot of people are having questions about the stock market. Like, what should they do? Should they keep their money in or pull their money out? And so today I just want to talk about a few practical things that will help you invest during this time. Now, very quickly, if you're new to this channel, feel free to like and subscribe. I appreciate all the people that stick around, as well as understand that our channel is about money. We like to talk about finances. We love to talk about investing, and we love to show people how they can succeed no matter from wherever they are, whether they have money or maybe they don't have a lot of money. So the stock market and the election is coming up very quickly. I think we have another week or so left. A lot of people are saying that when Donald Trump wins, it's going to be great for the stock market. And then if Joe Biden wins, it's going to be bad for the stock market. So here's what I think. And I'm not just saying it's based off of just me purely what I think, but based off of just how things really are. Now we can go through a lot of technical analysis and look at a lot of data and things like that to see exactly what normally happens around elections. But I want to give you something real simple and practical to think about. So here's my question. No matter who wins, will you still continue to live the next day? The answer is prayerfully, yes. So what does that mean? That means that you'll still continue to use certain products. You'll still continue to drive the vehicles you drive. You'll still continue to buy the things that you buy because that's how your life is set up. Just because Trump wins or Biden wins doesn't mean all of a sudden I no longer use my computer, or I no longer need these things from the store, or I no longer choose to do this or choose to do that. No, that's not the case. Now, there are a few factors to pay attention to no matter who wins, but we'll talk about that later on in the video, because with each candidate, they have their own things that they support and they don't support, and that could also affect what you're investing in. But let's just take a look at the stock market over the last 30 to 40 years, or however so long. And one of the things that you'll see is that the stock market has continually went up. That line is continue going up. Will you see some ups and downs? Yes. Our market is already higher than normal at this time, especially during a pandemic. It's higher. You would think that it would be a lot lower during this time, but it's not. As well as the way that we're living, it's starting to shift, and things that we've always known that would kind of become more powerful has started to become powerful because of this pandemic. For example, the way that we use things and do things online. But no matter what, if you just go back 30, 40 years, there's been several presidents, there's been several presidencies, and basically with any president, the market is still virtually, in the long run, been up. So essentially, I wouldn't worry too much about what happens no matter who wins in the terms of the stock market as a whole. Now, here's what you do pay attention to though, and here's what you can make some moves in and what you should watch. These are the factors I was talking about earlier in the video. Now, depending on who wins, they both will have things that they support or they don't support. For example, when Obama was in office, green energy was something that he highly supported. I don't know if you guys remember, but back in 2007, 2008, when we saw our gas prices starting to skyrocket, you just saw a surge of money flowing to the green energy sector. And those stocks were higher than ever. One of the reasons is because Obama believed in it, and there was a lot of money and funding that was going to allow these companies into that area, because just off of gas prices being so high, it started to question, so what should we do about fuel? What should we do about living greener? Because these prices of gas are too expensive and most people can't maintain that type of price as it goes up, but yet their income doesn't. So because Obama was about green energy and he supported that, that means that the door was open for more money to flow in that direction. So those companies and those stocks, they were definitely thriving. Now, when Trump came in office, it's not something that he's necessarily a big fan of, green energy and environmental safe stuff like that. He may understand it, but it's not a big thing that he's about. So what you saw in the energy sector is you've seen a lot of funding get cut. And a lot of those companies that were just soaring, you'll see that all of a sudden their prices aren't as high as they used to be, or they're not as thriving or moving as they used to be. Now you might say, well, Joe, what about the EV sector, the electric vehicles? They're going crazy. Well, that's more off of the strength of us as investors. We're the ones that's putting a lot of money into that. That's where a lot of that money is coming from as well, because we're all hopping in on that sector, mainly because a lot of people are looking for the next Tesla. So one of the things that you do want to look into is not what the media talks about so much, but do your own research and look into the policies and the things that each presidential candidate supports. So whoever wins, just go and look and see what they support, what they want to do, what they're writing checks for, what's happening, the laws that are becoming in place, and things like that. And what you will find is that you'll see money being taken away from one area, and then you will find money going to another area, or being pushed more in a certain area than it is in another area. Well, those areas that are receiving more money, or if there's more laws and things like that that are available, then what happens is you'll see stocks in that arena, in those businesses, start to be able to get some ground. Just like we're in a pandemic, the time and the way things are can also control what are good investments during this time. For example, Zoom. Zoom came out of nowhere. I've had a Zoom account for like the last 3, 4, 5 years. And I've used Zoom regularly, but now because this pandemic, people have started to use it a lot more, and you see the price going up because a lot of people need it for business and need it to continue on with business. Not just in the US, but worldwide. Or look at Clorox. Clorox stock is going through the roof. Well, why is it? Because everybody's trying to get their hands on some wipes and bleach, any other products that they make that help to keep your house or your place clean during this pandemic, because we're fighting against what? You know her name. Or look at the cannabis industry, right? Well, you see that there are stocks that are doing pretty good. Now, in the US, there's not a lot of stocks that you can get to because, a lot of stocks, they're kind of regulated against, as far as the company, far as, they don't want people to feel like they're encouraging people to use these products. So you don't have a lot of access to it from the stock market. And the over-the-counter you do, but getting the over-the-counter is harder. Well, what if certain laws were passed that changed that underneath another presidential policy that allows for that and supports those things? Then you might see yourself starting to have more access to those American companies, that is, than you do now. All because of the way policies and laws are written, depending on the president and his cabinet and the things that they're pushing for, that's not necessarily on mainstream media, but behind the scenes. So always look into behind the scenes to see things that are going on, because there are so many different things that are happening with each, candidate that will happen depending on who wins. And if you're so busy watching just what's out front, you're going to miss it. Understand exactly what they support, what they don't support. Then that can also dictate to you companies that you might want to look into as far as investing. But ultimately, I wouldn't worry as much about what's going to happen after the election. I would just stay consistent, and then I would pay attention to all the things that are changed or being talked about. It's like I just talked about, the policies that may be written behind the scenes. But overall, you'll still go to the grocery store, you'll still continue to get gas or charge your vehicle, you'll still continue to do those things that you normally do, especially even in this pandemic. You're still going to continue to try to keep your space clean, search for Lysol and different things like that, because you still have to live. So a part of the stock market can be controlled from other facets that we can't control, but then it also can be controlled a lot by just what we do every single day and what we're into. All right, guys, but those are just a few tips on the election and how you can play the market, or how to feel about the market in regards to the election. Now, real quick, if you're looking to invest or you're looking for a brokerage account to open up, check the descriptions below. I have some different companies there in the description that you might be interested in. So check them out, test them out, and see which one fits for you. All right, guys, so I will talk to you in the next video. Like I said, like and subscribe, or even tell me your thoughts as well, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.